Okay, so today we're going to evaluate this expression algebraically. Okay, so to evaluate this expression, we need to multiply this by its conjugate. What does conjugate means? Conjugate is exactly the same of this, but with the opposite sign. So you will have the root of x plus 7 plus 3 over, since you multiply this in the numerator, you also need to multiply it on the denominator. So you will have the same term down in the denominator. So what this makes is a difference of square. So you will have the root of x plus 7 squared minus 3 squared over, you multiply the denominator by this term, which is the root of x plus 7 plus 3.
So the next step will be simplifying this into something that I will show you right now. We will equal it to limit of x approaching 2, as it is right here, and we will cancel the square root with the squared, and you will have x plus 7 minus, and you will have 3 squared is 9, so you'll have the 9 on the over here, all over this multiplication. You will not open it. X minus 2 square root of x plus 7 plus 3. The next step is joining these two numbers, which will give you limit of x approaching 2, x 7 minus 9 is negative 2 over x minus 2, open parenthesis, square root of x plus 7 plus 3. And the next step is that you will cancel the common terms, the numerator with the denominator, which is x minus 2 and x minus 2. You will be left with a limit of x approaching 2, numerator of 1, all over x plus 7 plus 3. What is the next step? The next step is plugging in the x, which is 2, into the x. This sum will give you a 9, a total of 9. So the square root of 9 is equals to 3. And you add this 3, and you will have on the denominator a limit of x approaching 2 of 1 over 6. Now we're gonna find the equation of a tangent line of this equation. Now, what are we gonna do first? First of all, we're gonna copy the f of x, and we're gonna rewrite the square root and the whole equation. But first we start with the square root as 4. What are we gonna do next? The square root has a 2 over here, an imaginary 2, and a 1 over here. That is the exponent of the x. How do we write this square root? We're gonna put as x 1 over 2. 4x 1 over 2 is the same as 4 square root of x. Now, you copy the rest of the equation as it is. The next step is differentiate the equation. How? We're gonna multiply the exponent by the number that is multiplying the x, which is 4 times 1/2 x 1/2 minus 1. The formula says that you will always take 1 from the exponent. Minus, you will multiply 1 times 2, which is 2, and you will no longer copy the x. Why? Because you're taking off the, here's like an x 1, and you're taking off 1, so it's 0. You have no x's. Now, you will not copy the 1. Why? Because you have no x. So you have nothing to differentiate. Now, once we have this, we will multiply the 4 and the 1/2, which is 4, which is 2, because 4 times 1/2 is 2, x minus 1/2 minus 2. What are we gonna do next? As this exponent is a negative number, you cannot have a negative exponent. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take it down to the denominator. So this will equals to f of x prime 2 over x 1/2 minus 2. We can still simplify. We could still rewrite this as f of x is equal to 2 over x square root. Why? Because we said that if you have a 1/2 is a square root. You have the imaginary 2 and the imaginary 1, and you have a minus 2 over here.
Now that we have the differentiate equation, we need to plug the x so we can get the slope. So it's gonna be f prime of 4 is equals to 2 over square root of 4 minus 2. That is gonna be 2 over 2 minus 2. It's gonna be 1 minus 2. That gives us a negative 1. So this is gonna be our slope. Now that we have the slope, we need to get the y. How do we get the y? By plugging the x on the original equation. So it's gonna be 4 square root of 4 minus 2 times 4 plus 1. So this square root of 4 equals 2, so it's gonna be 4 times 2 gonna give us 8 minus 8 plus 1. But this gives us a 1. And this is our y. Now that we have the x, the y, and the m, we need to get the b. And this is the formula so to get the variables. So now we have to plug in the y, the m, and the x. So it's gonna be 1 equals the m, negative 1, times 4, that is the x over here, plus b. So we first multiply these two. It's gonna be a negative 4 plus b, and then we pass the negative 4 as positive to the other side. So it's gonna be a 5. And finally, we have the b.
Now that we have the m, the y, the b, and the x, we're going to find the final formula so you can graph. We're going to plug in the slope, which is -1. It is -1x, and now we plug in b, which is a 5. So this is the equation in which you can graph this expression.